Suck my balls, Cal. No! No, he has to suck my balls!
You like to suck my balls, don't deny it.
Oh, suck my balls, you ginger Jew rat hall monitor! Punk-ass stoolie, who the do you think you are? Suck my balls, K-10. That's right, suck my Canadian balls! Suck my balls! No, you suck my balls! Thanks, everybody. Suck my balls! Yeah, whatever, you can suck our balls. Suck my balls, 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 suck my balls.
How would you children like to suck on my chocolate salty balls?
Oh, you mean like a chocolate candy?
No, I mean my balls.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Yes, welcome back to another edition of
Suck my balls, suck my balls, suck my balls, suck my balls, suck my balls,
Suck My Balls,
Suck my
a
balls.
South Park
suck
review.
my balls,
That's the kind of, I don't know.
suck my balls,
Well, we're going with it.
suck
You're
my
gonna
balls,
I'm going with it. I'm
suck
going
my
with it.
balls,
Stop it,
suck
Jim.
my balls, suck my balls.
Suck My Balls, a South Park review. I'm your host, Naheet. I can't be beat. I'm your guy who's high where the air is dry, your boy, MSG. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Matthew_Shanner. Each and every week, I'm joined by two guys who have dreams, who have journeys, who have feelings, who have emotions. When you cut them, they bleed. And when you say strong words, they leave imprints. And we're hoping to leave imprints on you as we get deep. We don't want you to butt out. We want you to come on in. But we're going to tell you a story about butt out. But before I get there, I know I got a little deep there. Let me talk about my co-host. Scoop, mother, freaking Jackson.
I'm out. I'm out.
Scoop, freaking shakalaka. And ladies and gentlemen, making his way back to the podcast post wrestling event, he informed me that he even used this intro music, Scoop, as his professional wrestling introduction.
Oh no, it was as my cabaret intro.
As his cabaret intro.
Oh,
We're gonna have to hopefully find that on video, but ladies and gentlemen, he's already spoiled himself. Dirty Joe. Fernola, the V-Man, V-Squared, JV, the guy who's going to punch you in the face if you look at him the wrong way, but he'll buy you a nice card and flowers if you go to the hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, Dirty Joe Fernola, of course, responsible for the Big Boys Clubs as he's showing you. Big Boys Club.
My little pinner.
Little pinner. Well, we got the festive season, as you can see. If you're watching this on video in the future, because we're not going to release this live, you're probably watching on Patreon, maybe I cut this and I put this in the YouTube part. No, I'm not going to put this in the YouTube part. So if you're watching this full video portion on the Patreon. If you're listening to this, I'm sorry, I'm not going to take that part out. But that being said, we are going to be launching a Patreon here at some point in the next month or two. And if you'd like to join us, you'll be able to get access to the full video. Otherwise, you'll be able to just listen to the podcast free like you normally do. And maybe we're going to start putting up more video clips, like kind of shortened 15, 20 minute synopsis pods of cut up of our podcast on YouTube. Feel like that would be better.
Mhm.
Maybe you'll watch it then.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Thank you so much for joining us. If you didn't catch this, please go back and check out the season 25 premiere of myself and Joe's review as Scoop was home jacking off, right?
What?
Jacking it in San Diego. What?
Yeah. What?
Well, actually, we don't mean to throw Scoop under the bus, but he hasn't even seen the season premiere. Joe, I know.
Well, I
know.
What?
I know.
Came out the week I got back from Texas. All right. Come in some slack.
He did get back from Texas. Texas,
Back home.
but you need to get caught up, boy. You also need caught up on Boba Fett, but I'm not going to watch that with you. I'm sorry. I watched like all 5, 6 episodes.
I'm caught up.
We are? Oh, episode 7 drops tomorrow. You see that? He gets caught up on that, but he can't get caught up on fucking South Park.
I didn't. All right.
Walked right into that one. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back for another edition of Suck My Balls.
That's why I need a
Well,
lyric.
maybe this should be the Book of Boba Fett podcast.
Oh, snap. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back for another edition of a South Park podcast as Scoop has to take off his headset and cry for a moment.
That's because Boba Fett went out like a bitch. He got eaten in the Sarlacc pit. That's how he died.
No, he is not dead. Watch the Book of Boba Fett.
No, the TV shows aren't canon.
No,
if it didn't happen in the movies, it didn't happen.
It is canonical.
I don't care what Disney said is canon.
Listen,
because guess what? They bought it from George Lucas and they got the blessing. This is the expansion that takes place between the episodes on what happened to Boba Fett after.
Learning about Beskar armor, it's totally plausible that he lasted.
Yep.
I mean,
totally plausible. Okay, stop it. We're going to go into our South Park podcast. This is Butt Out. It is the 13th episode of season 7. It is the 109th episode of South Park. By the way, shout out to the New Force Order podcast. They're a Star Wars podcast. So if you want to get your Star Wars fix, go check them out. I used to produce for them. So I know that they've probably reviewed or been reviewing the Book of Boba Fett. But if you haven't been on or if you have never listened to this podcast before, what do we do? I mean, well, we talk about South Park. It's kind of what we do. All right, so Butt Out is the 13th episode of season 7 and the 109th episode overall, and it first aired on December the 3rd, 2003. Now, Scoop, you are going to go ahead and why don't you go ahead and read us a synopsis first before we get started, and we'll watch a little bit of this episode.
All right, let's do this. So, after signing and dancing representatives,
after he couldn't even.
I couldn't even get through the first sentence.
Let's try
Ladies and gentlemen.
shout out to you. Don't get Scoop.
After singing and dancing, representatives from anti-smoking campaign rap about the dangers of smoking, the kids at South Park Elementary realize how cool it really is and take up the habit.
Yeah.
So that's when we find them outside smoking.
Well, not yet. Actually, first it starts off with the Butt Out. And that's how the episode's going to start. So this episode begins with the Butt Out team shows up, and Mr. Garrison and Mr. Mackey wanted to get the attention of the school. So we're going to go ahead and play a little bit of a clip here. If you were listening to the podcast, you'll be able to listen to the whole thing. You're watching this back on YouTube. You're not listening. You're not going to be able to see the whole thing. It might be like a still image. It might be something else. But you'll be able to hear it. So enjoy.
Okay, kids, can I have quiet, please? Okay, quiet now. The assembly's about to start. Okay. Quiet. Okay. Okay. Now, kids, we have a really fun motivational group today who are going to talk to you about the dangers of smoking. Okay. So please give a very big South Park House welcome to Butt Out.
Oh, this is definitely. My co-hosts love me. Let me tell you.
Hey, students, how we all feel today? Woo!
Hey, did you guys know that each year over 600,000 people a year die from smoking? A year.
Wow.
Are you sure you're not just blowing smoke?
Blow smoke? Us? No way! Because we don't need to smoke.
Ouch,
Neither do
guys.
you, right, kids?
These are horrible.
Ow!
Yeah.
Break it down.
Did you guys ever have shit in elementary school like this?
We'll get there. Let's get there in a second. Let's struggle through this.
Smoking, no smoking.
Freestyle!
Burn it!
Stop, tick, tick. Don't smoke. Don't ever smoke. Kyle! B to the U to the T to the T to the O to the
Dude, this is unbearable. I'm going to kill myself.
to the T to the T to the E. Follow cigarette.
Randy! Smoking, no.
Randy,
it's got to
Kyle.
Go, you go, no, just say
It right?
Go, get it.
Pam!
Well,
You guys, Kenny's eating his own hand.
What's the big deal? I like smoking and it makes me cool.
Oh, really? Do you think lung cancer is cool too?
What about emphysema? Is that cool?
And what about abortion and AIDS?
That's none's the cool.
Word. Yeah, so butt out. Butt out. Yeah. Give that cigarette butt a throw.
Jesus Christ.
Smoking's got to go. Remember, kids, if you smoke, you could grow up to be a failure.
Worse yet, you could grow up to be dead.
So don't believe what those evil tobacco companies tell you.
Yeah, because if you don't smoke, you can grow up to be
Just like us.
Very next scene. boys.
Oh, of course.
Now they said if you smoke, you'll be a failure, but I've seen very, very many successful people that smoke.
Well, I think it's just in like regards to the health, right? I mean, smoking has been proven to not be healthy for you. Even as I vape, I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not telling you to don't smoke. Do whatever you fucking want.
No doubt, no doubt.
But obviously, smoking is bad, and even at that age, you really shouldn't be smoking at that age for sure. Now, Joe brought up a good point, though. Joe, you brought up the point about the shitty assemblies in school in which you received at a young age, in which you tried to be brainwashed into doing something else. Now, I'm sure we all experienced DARE, as far as the school programming and whatnot. And this was kind of what I figured was like a play on that, like kind of that as well. Like,
yeah, a little bit.
Right. Don't smoke cigarettes, Joe.
Yeah, that and like maybe some motivational speakers and stuff. Although they do that much, much better a couple seasons from now with the making fun of the motivational speaker.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You see, words are like bullets, Scoop. But if you allow him to
looks so cute with his little shoes and his little hat and his little jacket.
Which one of you put him in suspenders? Anyway,
don't put him in fucking suspenders.
Hey, was he too easy for Cartman on that one?
Yeah, and it was. I got caught in a couple of those. I'm not gonna necessarily compare it to DARE because, I mean, at least the people teaching us DARE had a gun, but
yeah, it was the sheriff, and then I think a lieutenant guy.
Yeah, we had a lot of stupid like assemblies when I was a kid for sure, and I feel like though they weren't a lot about cigarettes; they were more about sex.
Yeah, but and it's funny how they try to sneak in the AIDS and abortion,
or like chlamydia, or hepatitis, or gonorrhea,
canker,
or what's the stuff where you get pimples everywhere on your shit?
We
herpes,
that
kind of shit. Herpes,
we had an assembly about drunk driving.
Drunk driving. See, that's another one.
Yeah,
it wasn't really ever about like cigarettes. If they did talk about drugs when I was growing up, when I got moved to Montana, and I know Arizona was like this too, Joe and Scoop, is that they at one point in time Montana and Arizona were like the top two states in the country for methamphetamines. So I remember getting like a methamphetamine anti-meth type assemblies and shit like that in school, but nothing more about cigarettes. Like cigarette was never like, there was always been like anti-tobacco shit for as long as even when we were in like middle school and high school, that's when they started to come out. So cognizantly, I feel like there's always just been like anti-smoking shit.
Always.
I will say alcohol though. For a long time, alcohol was advertised on TV a lot.
Still
I mean, it is, but it's not as much. Like, and it has to be between certain time periods of time they can advertise it. I mean, back in the day, people were taking fucking shots and actually drinking it. Now you just see them actually holding it, or let's go to a party, or clinking it together. No one's actually fucking drinking it.
Yeah.
Hey.
True. Or either they just take a sip of it, or
maybe. I've not seen the sip. Go ahead, Joe.
The world was a lot better when we had Fred Flintstone hawking Winston cigarettes during episodes of the Flintstones.
That's a good point.
Shit went right in the 60s. Go Kennedy.
Well, speaking of smoking in the 60s and smoking indoors, that does lead us further into this episode of Butt Out here. Let's talk a little bit more about what this episode is after the boys start smoking here, what happens as far as how the plot goes, Scoop?
So the boys standing out there not wanting to be anything like the butt out people or weirdos. I don't know those. Although, it takes a weird person to do those too.
Yeah. I was always wondering how much you get paid for selling your soul like that.
Yeah, like you go to these schools and as soon as we walk out of the assembly, you're just gonna get roasted like nobody's ever been roasted before.
Right.
High school and middle schoolers can roast you beyond like they could just roast you to death because it's so.
Oh, kids are terrorists.
Yeah, they can just be like, find the most thing that you're like self-conscious about, and then they just attack it. And you're like, I don't have one opposite side. Your face is weird looking, right? Back off my ears, man.
Or like you're substituting and one of the 8th graders is taller than you. Hey, Sharon's taller than the substitute. Yeah, I'll still beat the fuck out of him. You can't say that.
You can't say that. So as you continued on there, as far as what happened with the boys before we play the clip.
They jumped outside and they just started smoking as much as they possibly could.
Right.
Getting red in the face. But unfortunately, they get caught by Mr. Mackey. Or, well, fortunately, maybe, because they probably would have smoked themselves sick.
Right. Yep.
They discard their
They
cigarettes.
kind of did.
I mean, yeah, that's true. my first cigarette made me sick.
Everybody.
I went home. Sick. I was green. My dad knew exactly what happened. He was like, huh, what happened? And I'm just sitting over the toilet. No, I just don't feel very good.
It makes everybody sick.
Yeah. It wasn't fun. So they threw their still lit cigarettes into a nearby dumpster, which is always dangerous no matter what, which ignites and proceeds to burn the whole school down. Their parents all come into the burned down school when principal thinks, oh man, that's right. They knock on the door. They knock on the door and Principal Victoria tells the parents about them smoking.
Attention, this is Mr. Mackey. You're listening to the Suck My Balls podcast. Okay.
This is Eric Cutman from South Park, Colorado, and you're listening to Suck My Balls, a South Park review that's pretty good.
Dude, this is really hard. Oh shit, here comes Mr. Mackey. Slowly. Dude, here he comes. Stop coughing.
Kyle looks all green. That's kind of how I look.
Boys, what are you doing back here? I asked you a question. What are you doing back here? Okay.
And they hold in a fat hit to ghost it.
What?
So true.
Well, hey, if I didn't know any better, I'd think you boys have been smoking.
Like, wouldn't you be able to smell it though?
Well, you better not, because let me tell you something about smoking.
Yeah, they definitely would be able to smell it for sure.
And
and as he mentioned there, now the dumpster is burning in the back room.
Smoking can lead to all kinds of health
as the kids burn down the school. I like the animation here. It's pretty fun. Pretty good for 2004.
Okay.
They always used real fire, like real looking fire.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's always funny.
Did, yeah.
But it even looks better just how it's spread. It's pretty good. Okay, guys.
Mr. Slave? What the fuck?
Oh, yeah, he's in the classroom. Garrison.
Oh, is that still going on?
Yeah, of course.
Well, you boys have certainly done it this time.
We're sorry.
They actually are in the office.
Here they come now.
Oh, God.
Right, they come to the door. This is dumb. Like, still. They're just knocking.
That's what makes it funny.
What did you do this time? You better brace yourselves, parents. The boys were caught smoking.
Smoking?
No, it can't be. My son is not a filthy smoker.
Mom, Dad, it was just...
I don't have a son.
I don't have a son.
You've done a lot of horrible things in your life, but smoking? You're grounded for
Okay.
3 weeks.
You're grounded for 3
Are you
weeks.
kidding me?
Haven't you boys
Fucking
seen
week.
anything about how harmful smoking is to you and those around you?
Of course they haven't, because the tobacco companies have gotten to them first.
That's right.
This is really their fault.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, this is really
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
No matter how much money the anti-smoking group
No, that's
spend,
kind of surprising for
tobacco
Kyle to
companies
come
are
out
there
and
to
do
fill our
something like
children's heads with lies and
No.
Is it?
No.
I don't know. Is it surprising?
No, he's done a lot of stuff to try to get out of trouble before.
And more importantly, remember when it comes to his mom? Like Kyle's willing to do, dude, you have no idea how pissed off my mom will be. Like, there's been previous instances in the past where Kyle's agreed with Cartman. He's like, we have to kill him. And then he's like, no, we can't do that. And Kyle's like, okay, let's do it. And Stan's like, really? And he's like, dude, you have no idea how pissed off my mom will be. So, like, you know, they've used that in the example. So I could see why with his mom being right there, he was like, yeah, it was totally them. It was, it was a big tobacco company. What do you think, Joe?
No, that's a pretty sound theory there. I definitely, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's his mom. Like anytime it's his mom involved, he doesn't want to like have his mom come after him or whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So as you heard there, Sharon, was mad and they were going to ground him, and then Sheila blamed it on the tobacco company. So after them following suit, what happens there after Scoop?
So then the town calls. Oh yeah, we're gonna. Yeah. So the town then calls in Rob Reiner. And his group is known as Rob Reiner's Smoke Stoppers. In order to combat the spread of smoking in my children in the South Park. It's pretty good. Despite the fact that Reiner is against smoking, his obesity is lots of amounts of junk food. Better!
What did you say?
Okay. So what Scoop there says as he's recovering, the town called in Rob Reiner smoke stoppers, and they wanted to combat it by what they do is they fight against smoking cigarettes by coming up with different PSA campaigns. And as Scoop alluded there, he's obese, fat, he barely breathes.
The big dude.
And he eats lots of junk food, right?
Doesn't he eat butter by just the butter?
Right. And the irony is he's going to be talking about how bad smoking is as he's cramming food into his mouth. What do you think? What does Cartman think about him?
He loves him.
Cartman loves him.
He will have a little bit of happiness and you take that away from them.
He just goes around imposing his will on other people.
And taking their little bit of happiness away.
Right. He says he's his idol. And he says now, so of course, the rest of the boys they're not very happy. Now we kind of gloss over this too. Kyle does bring up the fact that this is a classic pattern of South Park. Like they could just acknowledge the fact that they fucked up and get grounded and get this over with.
Mm-hmm.
But instead he knows that they're going to end up in a situation where I learned something here today and the town's going to be fighting. So he's trying his best throughout this whole episode to get out of it, but unfortunately he's going to continue to get sucked back in. So let's jump back into the episode here.
I lobbied to get images of cigarettes removed from movies and art. I forced smokers out of bars and parks, but still I get letters from parents saying their kids are doing it. Apparently, people still don't understand how bad smoking is for them. They don't know how dangerous it is to their health. Don't they know how bad smoke?
But according to the letter, sir, the town has a tobacco company quite near them.
Yeah, that must be it. The tobacco companies with their millions of dollars and their slick desks and fancy buildings, they're the ones making children want to smoke.
He's sitting in a high rise in LA.
They're the ones hurting our nation's health. I will not stand by and see the children of America corrupted by those bastards.
All right, so now Rob Reiner has finally arrived.
Give him Reiner.
Maybe we should come clean right now and tell everyone that
Hey,
it wasn't the
here's
tobacco
Kyle's
company that
point.
made us want to smoke.
What? Why? It's perfect. If everyone's blaming the tobacco companies, then nobody's blaming us. Yeah, what's the problem?
Well, it's just that this seems like another one of those times when things are going to get way out of hand, you know? It's been happening a lot lately. How about this time we just put a stop to it right now?
Dumbass, you don't want to be grounded for 3 weeks, do you? Yeah, don't worry, dude. Things aren't going to get out of hand.
Here he comes!
Here we go, Rob Reiner, Smoke Stoppers.
Here's the best part.
Damn it! Butter! Butter!
What'd he say?
Butter!
Keeps it too.
He's glossing himself up with butter. He's glossing himself up with butter. He gets out of the car and his fat gut sticks out. All right, so we don't need to listen to the whole entire Rob Reiner speech again because Scoop pretty much gave what it was. But here's a couple snippets of it.
Hello, South Park! It is so nice to see an entire town come together to fight for good health. And I'm going to help you.
Again, the irony of that being that he's like panting and can barely breathe. And
How you get it? Now, the closest that I've come to eating any type of raw butter is tasting garlic butter that I'm making. I've never just taken a chunk of butter and just, or like fried butter.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I've never done that. Joe, have you ever eaten raw butter?
Not raw butter, no.
Just by itself, just taking a chunk of
So here's what let me kind of, because we didn't write all this down here on the synopsis stuff, but here's what's going to happen here. So eventually now the boys are trying to team up with Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner decides we need to make a commercial, right?
Mm-hmm.
But before he does that, he's trying to come up with different ways to try and get a smoking ban passed in Colorado, a law, if you will. So Reiner's going to eventually disguise himself here and, go into the tobacco company. What's her name, Scoop?
Rita Poon.
Rita Poon. I muted Scoop there because he's hitting shit. Rita Poon, yes. So let's go to the clip here while Scoop composes himself.
All right, kids, here's what we're going to do. We're going to sneak you into the tobacco company by saying you kids want a tour for a school paper. Once you're inside, I'm going to take photos, and then we'll publish them saying that the tobacco company invited you over to seduce you into smoking. Got it?
Got it.
Get it.
But isn't that kind of lying?
We're just leveling out the playing field.
That
The
food's
tobacco
so
companies
good.
lie to you about the dangers of smoking. If we're going to take them down, we've got to lie right back.
It's smelling like chocolate or something. Or smoking.
Oh my God.
Gets up, walks over.
Excuse me. Yes? Would you mind putting that dead stick out? But this is a bar. Isn't smoking illegal in bars here? Not in Colorado. Oh my God, what kind of backward hick state is this?
Is it legal anywhere anymore to smoke in a bar?
Not anymore there, but it still is in parts of Texas. And probably parts of the South. I don't know, Joe.
Yeah.
Is it still?
I'm not sure.
I know it's still parts of Texas as early as 2014, 2015.
Mm-hmm.
But those are small little towns. It's up to them.
Probably smells like shit in there. Probably don't even want to go there.
It was a lot. We had to play 3 45-minute sets inside one of those places. They paid us pretty well.
Yeah,
Had a nice lady. Go ahead, Joe.
Florida, Idaho, Indiana, Louisiana, and Nevada.
I think that's why he Googled. That's why Google's our friend. He looked it up.
Yep.
Thank you. There you go. So it's still legal there. You can still smoke inside bars. That's interesting. Well, unfortunately for Rob Reiner, that guy he's able to smoke bars. So now they're going to try and pass a law, right? But so to do that, as we mentioned, Rita Poon is going to try to sneak in with the kids to the tobacco office here. And the tobacco office is, he's going to give them a nice little tour about, who they are, where they've come from. And, South Park definitely does what I think is a pretty funny job here in trying to make the tobacco company look like more of a positive influence versus a negative influence, wouldn't you say? Because I think at the time, especially even in media today, they always try to put tobacco and they shaped them in a narrative that they're evil, the evil tobacco company.
Well, yeah, that's true. But it's not to go without some truth behind it because of their lobbyists and the things that they've done for their cigarettes. And so I mean,
well, I'm not saying it's not fair point to make. I'm just saying from a cartoon perspective, we really don't ever get them animated in such a way or, projected in such a way of such a positive manner.
I got you.
South Park does that here. And that's the satirical take on it. That's why they do it.
Yeah,
it's because no one ever really does this. But the tobacco company makes some good points here. They also make some stupid points in here, which we're going to go over. So here's a quick tour of that. And if you're watching it on the video, unfortunately, you probably might not get all of it, but you will get all of it, as we mentioned on the podcast. So here's that.
Can I help you?
Yes, my name is Rita Poon. I called about my boys wanting a tour.
Yes, Mrs. Poon. My name's Kevin Harris, and I'm the vice president of Big Tobacco.
Oh, hello, Mr. Harris.
Well, come on in. How about a little history first? Native Americans were the first to cultivate the tobacco plant. They smoked it in pipes for medicinal and ceremonial purposes.
That is true.
If I were around, they wouldn't have.
Excuse me?
No, nothing. Please continue.
The first successful commercial crop of tobacco was cultivated in Virginia in 1612. Within 7 years, it was one of the country's largest exports.
So, tobacco helped to build America.
That's right. Over the next few centuries, the tobacco business was so great that many slaves were brought from Africa to help work the fields.
Which means if it weren't for tobacco, many of our black friends wouldn't be here today.
That's horrible.
And so for centuries, tobacco production flourished. Nobody was even aware of any dangers back then until in 1965, when Congress passed an act forcing all tobacco companies to put the Surgeon General's warning on their packages.
That's true.
So now everyone knows the dangers of smoking, and some people still choose to do it, and we believe that's what being an American is all about.
That sounds perfectly reasonable.
And here's our factory at work.
Before we get into the song, let's have a discussion on some of the context of that information there. So I think they made some good points, right? If America was founded largely on tobacco as a crop, the export and the import of it itself, as far as the goods itself, it definitely was used and is still used today by Native Americans in cultural ceremonies. There are people who like to smoke tobacco in a fashion in which it's not as addictive or habit forming. They're not smoking it every day, every hour. It might be every week, every month, or there's something like that. Maybe they're sitting down having a nice cigar or something like they're doing some hookah. So there's different forms of tobacco and how you can do it. However, the point about Cartman obviously saying this is how we get all our black friends. Well, it's unfortunately true. That sucks. Like that's how we got all of our black friends. Was via slavery because of tobacco. So there is a negative attachment to that as well. But I mean, other than that, I mean, I'd say like the crux of the message, though, you have the freedom of choice. I mean,
choose to smoke or not. Don't fuck with other people because they choose to smoke. I for one like to enjoy a cigar every now and then. Nice cigar. It's pretty nice. Tastes pretty good. Nice and chill. I don't care if you.
I like to vape, as you can see on camera. So, and you probably heard me exhale there. So anyway, moving on there now. So, okay, now we're going to get into a really good song from South Park here. This is the Heidi, Heidi, A, Heidi, Heidi, O. So I'm not going to show the video because I don't want to edit this out. It'll just be too long. So I'm just going to hit play. I think you should just be able to hear this, Joe. Tell me if you can't.
With the highly lighty lighty on the highly lighty day. We work and we make cigarettes all highly lighty day. So folks can get a breaky from the stressful lighty lives and relaxing with the cigarettes we make all day and night. I like to have a cigarette every now and then. It makes me feel calmer when the day is at an end. And if it gives me cancer when I'm 80, I don't care. Who the hell wants to be 90 anyway? So with the highly lighty lighty and the highly lighty day, we work and we make cigarettes all highly lighty day. So folks can get a breaky from the stressful lighty lives and relaxing with the cigarettes we make all day and night.
Well, I guess that's the end of our tour. Oh, here, boys. Let me get your picture.
All right, so this part I'll bring back on screen because this part's funny. He's gonna like flip out here. So Rob Reiner, as we mentioned, takes the picture now of the boys, and what the point of taking the picture is so that way he can Photoshop shit in later for propaganda. So here's that part.
Got it! Ha! You bastards are going down now! What? I'm not Rita Poon. I'm Rob Reiner, and you've just been Reinered. Come on, boys, let's make our escape! Don't you try and stop us! Oh!
Oh my God!
Oh boy, that was great, kids!
Those people at the tobacco company all seem really nice.
Yeah, you see that? They got into your head. Now you kids can meet some good, decent people. The folks who work to get smoking banned.
We're evil. Look at them. They're all hissing and shit there. All right, back to the episode, or back to the overall synopsis here as far as the episode is concerned. So as you mentioned, we talked about Reiner disguises as Rita Poon, got the tobacco coming. What happened after that? So what does he want to do?
He's hoping to you heard hoping to sabotage the company by taking the boys there, taking a picture and inserting some photoshopping. The tobacco company reveals how important the industry has been to the country as a whole. The workers are really nice and everybody employed there looks really happy and friendly. So they appear to be perfectly aware of the dangers of smoking, but allow people to have the freedom to smoke. Now, where do all of the additives come in? Because if we can have like a safer cigarette, why don't they just make a safer cigarette without all the additives? And it would be, then it's really, all right, yeah, it's really up to you now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. But I mean, unfortunately, those ingredients just aren't illegal. right? Because then we'd have to, we're now, and I agree with you, because then we're changing the industry as a whole. Think about everything you eat, everything that's put into our foods and fast food and shit like that. Additives are put in to make us want it more, right? To make us salivate for it, yearn for our taste buds to react to it. So it's the same thing with cigarettes. That's really what the additive form is. It's what's in that filter a lot of times, which keeps you coming back. If you like Camel Crush, what are you coming back for? Not necessarily the cigarette. You come back for that crush, which is in the filter. So a lot of it is the gimmick and all that stuff too. So you're right. If you just get like a regular native American cigarette where it's just a regular filter in your cigarette, it's actually better for you, but they're stronger. They're fucking stronger tobacco. So that's another thing as well.
Filterless one.
Yeah, exactly. So as you mentioned, the tobacco company revealed how important the history was, and it was pretty cool. What I like as we heard the line there, you've just been Reinered. You've just been Reinered.
You've just been Reiner.
What happened there? And then, of course, we saw the anti-smoking group. They're more like
the Boris and Natasha style madmen,
right? Like from I don't know, like Rocky and Bullwinkle, or just Russian people and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they act like vampires.
Yeah. So what happens next after that, Scoop?
So feeling the need to push their agenda further, Reiner asks for one of the boys to appear in an anti-smoking commercial in which he says he is dying of secondhand smoke. Well, style.
Yeah, that's the new Stan Kyle relationship name.
Style. AJ Styles here. Go ahead.
Stan.
I like your
Kyle.
style.
Your style is good, but my style is unbeatable. Stan, Kyle, and Kenny want nothing more to do with Reiner and his group. Cartman is excited at the chance and assumes the other boys are as well. And, after going and stapling Kyle's door shut, but realizing that it opens the other way, and Kyle going underneath the board, he puts one underneath.
Let's go to the commercial here, as you mentioned. So Cartman appears in this commercial itself as he's the one that volunteered. And it's like Rob Reiner. It's like a public service announcement about smoking. And it ends with Cartman in a pretty disgusting or dark message here. So let's go ahead and pull that up here so you can as well see it if you're watching it on the video here, or just see the clip later on down the line.
Somebody's deal with this. All right, roll camera, roll the teleprompter, and whenever you're ready, Eric.
Okay.
Okay.
Some people say there's no proof that secondhand smoke kills. The tobacco companies say there's no proof that secondhand smoke kills. I've just been diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. I guess I'm the proof. The next time you want to believe that secondhand smoke doesn't kill, think about me. Because by the time you see this commercial, I'll be dead. Dead?
That cut! Great! We got it!
Great. And the Cartman's gonna be like, wait, what? What is that? That's funny, guys. What do you mean dead? That's funny. Excuse me. What's that funny?
Excuse me.
So yeah, these commercials, as I pointed out to Scoop Joe, because I've been recently going back and taking some acting classes, and I was like, one of the things that they pointed out to me is that I'm kind of like a cartoon character in real life. I'm very animated, right? But when you're acting, obviously, you don't want to have a lot of facial expressions. You actually want to let more of your voice and your diaphragm emote, right? Use the subtext of it itself, and then use those subtle facial expressions or body motions when you need to. Cartman here, Matt Stone and Trey Parker perfectly exemplified how Cartman got right into character. He went stone cold straight faced and he delivered his PSA. And I was just like, fucking A, Matt Stone and Trey Parker. Even in an animation style, like made it perfectly. That's perfectly how you would like shoot a PSA. And Cartman did it in one take, one fucking take, guys, one take. He's a pro. Am I wrong here, Joe?
No, not at all. He handled that like a champ. One taked it and everything.
All right. So afterwards, now they want to give Cartman a cupcake. Here, I'll just let you guys listen to this here.
That cut! Great! We got it! Wrap out, people. That was fantastic.
What does that mean? I'll be dead. Hey, what was that dead part?
That was very good, Eric. Here, eat this cupcake.
Eat this cupcake.
No thing.
What you are. Just eat this one cupcake. It
What
has
you are.
sprinkles.
I'm not eating the cupcake.
Aaron, do you know what a hero is? A hero is somebody who... You can be a hero, Eric.
You can be here.
All you have to do is
I just like the fact that I pointed this out to Scoop as we were watching this episode too, Joe. I was like, I love that Cartman actually runs away. Like no fucks given. He's gonna he doesn't wait. He bolts right out of the studio.
Yeah.
Was smart.
That might be the fastest he ever ran.
That's a fair point. All right, now we get into the crux here, the end of the episode here. So Cartman had been confused, as we mentioned, by the dialogue, offered about being the poison cupcake. So now, fearful that Cartman escapes, he's going to go help seek Stan, Kyle, and Cartman and Kenny. He wants to unite with all his friends, and he convinces them to agree to help him. But in the crux of this, at the end of this, as he's convinced them, Kyle is actually going to predict what happens. Here, let's listen in.
So with all that, or be grounded for 3 weeks. Myrtle, remember? Yeah, go to the tobacco company yourself. Well, that's fine. I thought you guys were my friends, but I guess I was wrong. Yeah, dude, you were totally wrong. You guys,
Oh, let me go back. I'm sorry. I should cue this up for Joe.
Be ridiculous, boys. The anti-smoking people are kind, caring, and intelligent. Your heads have just been corrupted by the lies of the big tobacco companies.
Hey, maybe that's it, you guys. Maybe the tobacco company can help us. Help you, fat ass. We weren't in the commercial, remember? Yeah, go to the tobacco company yourself. Well, that's fine. I thought you guys were my friends, but I guess I was wrong. Yeah, dude, you were totally wrong. You guys, I'm seriously getting pissed off now. Now, come on, we're going to the tobacco company. Oh, all right. No.
He gets on board there. All right.
Let's go to our parents right now and take responsibility for smoking ourselves, even if it means getting grounded. Why? Because if we go to the tobacco company, I know exactly what will happen. They'll take us in, and then Rob Reiner will show up with all the townspeople holding torches or something, and there'll be a big showdown until we talk about what we learned and change everyone's minds. This is all following a formula. So it's either deal with all that or be grounded for 3 weeks.
Or be grounded for 3 weeks.
Easy decision, boys.
God damn it.
Easy claps.
God damn it. Fucking Kyle. He totally called it too. And then eventually, even in the end, after they all figure out that he's Rob Reiner's a weirdo and he wants to kill Cartman, and all the parents are like coming to the realization, they're like, what the fuck is going on? Here's what Rob Reiner has to say, and Kyle is actually going to give his I learned something here speech. And Scoop, you pointed out that it's kind of meta, and the fact that he acknowledges it too.
This again. Smoking is bad, people. So if we have to be a little extreme to stop it, it's okay.
No, it isn't, you fat turd. Because I learned something today. You just hate... See? I knew it. Yep. You just hate smoking. So use all your money and power to force others to think like you. And that's called fascism, you tubby asshole.
God damn it, don't be no more smoking!
It wasn't the tobacco company's fault that we smoked. It was our fault. Us. We should all take personal responsibility instead of letting fat fascists like him tell us what to do.
You're right, boys. Okay?
Yeah, let smokers smoke.
Yeah! Hey, Mr. Reiner, why don't you butt out? I'm warning you, don't mess with anti-smoking groups.
I don't idolize you anymore, asshole.
This is disgusting.
My goo!
My goo!
So, Kyle, it wasn't the tobacco company that made you want to smoke?
No.
Well, then you are grounded, mister.
You too, Eric.
Well, I guess we learned our lesson.
No,
we didn't, dude. No,
we didn't. So there you go, guys. That is your full recap there on the Suck My Balls review podcast of Butt Out. We'll be right back. We'll get into our trivia, pop culture, and maybe a little bit of what did Kenny say? Kenny did have some lines in this episode, guys. So we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors, and maybe a little friendly hello from a friend of ours from the show.
My name is Enzo Amore, and I am a certified G and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And I love the Suck My Balls podcast. I listen to that shit every day. I listen to it while I'm sucking balls. Whoa, what the? Hey, it is what it is. 2022. What are you going to do?
Is that... What the hell happened here?
Subscribe to Suck My Balls, a South Park review on Spotify, Apple's, iTunes, anywhere you want to download a podcast. Just type that in, subscribe to our feed, and you'll get the latest, greatest episode each and every week. You can also listen to us on YouTube and go back and watch some videos or any of our library. It's all there. Suck My Balls, South Park review. Hey guys, we just want to take this quick time out here just to recognize our sponsor. What's that? Well, who's our sponsor?
Baked Boys Club.
Baked Boys Club. TheBakedBoysClub.com.
The Baked Boys Club.
That's right, the Baked Boys Club. You can use our code SuckMyBallsPod and you'll save how much, Joe?
20 motherfucking percent.
20.
You heard it right.
20%.
20%.
That's right, 20%. 20. That's 1/5 off your order just by typing in Suck My Balls Pod at thebakedboysclub.com. What does the Baked Boys Club have? Well, they've got hats, they've got shirts, they've got stickers, tons of different apparel. They've got mystery boxes, and if you use that code, according to Scoop, it brings it down to $49.95. So use Suck My Balls Pod code at thebakedboysclub.com. Baked Boys, not just a brand,
a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. That's right.
It's a lifestyle. I may have been too big to do that.
And we're back. Once again, shout out to our sponsor, thebakedboysclub.com. Use our code SuckMyBallsPod and you'll save 20% off your order. Baked Boys, not just a brand. It's kind of sort of, yes, it is a lifestyle. Joe's going to break down some of that trivia for all of you listeners. Joe, what do you got saddled up first?
This episode defends smoking and smokers, although both Trey and Matt are non-smokers. Matt Stone did, however, used to smoke but has since quit. They explain that they did the episode mostly because they think Rob Reiner is a, quote, big fat ass, end quote, and because they were tired of loved ones being assaulted and criticized for smoking.
Yeah, it's true. Like, there was a point in the late 90s and early 2000s where, like, people were fucking like you were like, I don't know, like looked down upon if you smoked cigarettes.
Yeah.
The coughing and how dare you invade my airspace with your secondhand smoke.
It's like, I'm outside, dude. Like, what do you want to do?
It's not your right to give me secondhand smoke. You know, there's something stupid like that, like a Karen.
Here's the problem, okay? And I'm going to break this down for you 100% why a lot of people start smoking, why 50% of people start smoking who never even thought about smoking in the first place. These people start jobs. They go to work. And you know who gets always extra breaks?
Smokers.
So why wouldn't you fucking start smoking so you could get an extra fucking break? And then as well as you're networking with your coworkers, so you're building camaraderie. So rather than giving extra smoke breaks, just give people extra 5-minute fucking breaks to let them go do whatever the fuck they want.
That's why I smoked in the Navy.
That. Just fucking do that.
I know, but like, yeah, eventually when you do that, then they'll be like, I never saw you smoking. You didn't smoke. What are you talking about?
So?
Yeah, well, you know, then you have to fucking
Jerry and
then they're
Billy
going to be
over
less
here.
likely though than to give you a smoke break. Do you get what I'm saying? Because they know you're not going to smoke, so you're more likely to then smoke. So that way, if they do see you, you're doing what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? So it's just stupid shit. It's stupid shit you make up in your mind when you're first starting out in the workplace, and then they just create these bad habits. I'm telling you, this is why a lot of people start smoking. Another obvious reason people start smoking is peer pressure. You know, you hang out with people who smoke, or your family smokes. You know, if you're around it, you're more likely to fall into it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, go ahead, Joe.
Rob Reiner was previously criticized for using children to pull at the heartstrings of the public in the episode Gnomes, but this time they devoted a whole episode to it. When the episode originally aired, it ended after Cartman groaned over being grounded. Since then, all reruns and the DVD version include a short scene afterwards where Stan tells Kyle that the boys learned a lesson, but Kyle, upset over no one heeding his warning about avoiding the big showdown, calmly mutters, "No, we didn't, dude. No, we didn't."
No, he didn't. Yeah, I always thought that was interesting too, because I remember watching this episode back in the day, and when they made the trailer for this episode, they included that part. No, we didn't, dude. No, we didn't. And like, then you watch the episode the first time and it didn't have it. But yeah, as you mentioned, there the reruns and the DVDs show that extra scene.
Yeah. The promo for the episode shows Butters being peer pressured from the members of Butt Out, but the scene does not appear in the episode.
Yep. And if you want to see it, you can go Google it.
Yep. Cartman refers to Kyle shying.
Pull it up. Actually, hold on. Before you continue, let's pull it up. Yeah, we're gonna pull this up
On
on
the next all-new South Park.
We're gonna pull this up on. We'll share it here, and this is on YouTube, so I don't think I'll get stricken for sharing this. And if I do, well, then I'll modify it. Here, I'll share my screen really quick. Here's the scene apparently.
All new South Park.
The boys learn about peer pressure.
Smoke it! Take it!
Go! And it isn't pretty. An all new South Park. Tomorrow at 10 on Comedy Central.
On the next.
Oh man,
So
that would have been great.
they would do things like that where they air little promos and didn't have ads in it or whatnot.
Yeah. They take it out for whatever reason.
Time constraints.
Cartman refers to Kyle shying away from doing the commercial by calling him a liar and using the Serbian Jew double bluff.
Serbian Jew.
Later on, Trey Parker admitted to a slight feeling of guilt in their portrayal of Rob Reiner, claiming that he liked some of Reiner's earlier movies and was inspired by Spinal Tap to fuse music and comedy. Spinal Tap is amazing, and so is his work in All in the Family.
Do you Spinal Tap too? Dude, everything is Spinal Tap. Everything is Spinal Tap. It's like,
wait, have you not seen Spinal Tap?
He has not seen Spinal Tap. He doesn't get to everything is Spinal Tap reference. Yeah. So everything is Spinal Tap. It's kind of a parody movie about a manager in a band, and everything and anything that goes wrong as they're trying to become, a big time band.
It's their comeback tour and everything.
Yeah. So, everything is Spinal Tap is a phrase musicians, entertainers always say, because everything that's supposed to go wrong will go wrong. Everything is Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
Like when I was shout out to Prophet from St. Madness, who I still believes in the hospital fighting off some sickness there. As a metal band, his wife and manager Marge always says that everything is Spinal Tap. So shout out to them. St. Madness, go check them out.
Mm-hmm. At the end of the episode, when he's being grounded, Cartman says "ah," which is usually Stan's line or groan. During the credits, a special disclaimer was briefly shown stating that the episode depicts entirely fictional situations that are products of the writer's imaginations. The full disclaimer reads, "This program contains satire and parody. It depicts entirely fictional situations that are products of the writer's imaginations. The program is not intended to describe actual events, persons, entities, or to suggest any association with or sponsorship by any person or entity." I wonder how much their fucking lawyers were like, no, if you're going this hard after Rob Reiner, we have
not
to
just
do
Rob
this.
Reiner, but they're also saying that they are like, as I mentioned before, it makes it look like they're saying we advocate for smoking. So there's some legal entities there as well, right?
Yeah, that too.
Doesn't the new thing in front of it, doesn't it say it shouldn't be watched by anybody?
Oh, it always. Oh, in the new ones?
Yeah.
It sometimes.
At the bottom?
Yeah, sometimes it says that, but Joe was saying for this specific one, it was a special one. They changed it.
Yeah, this actually came up during the end credits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rob Reiner and his goo was used as part of the story in the 200 and 201st episodes.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know how we can't put that episode on video. They're not gonna let us. Like, they wouldn't even let me put the fucking Blaintology episode from season 5 up. So that one will definitely be an audio exclusive. Go ahead.
Yeah. This is the second time Leanne Cartman grounds Eric for 3 weeks. The first time, of course, being in Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. What the fuck? Why am I grounded for 3 weeks?
Big fucking deal. Why am I grounded for 3 weeks? What did you say, young man? Then Kenny dies as he's dying there.
Mm-hmm. And the boys can be seen playing with a standard bicycle deck of playing cards during the commercial shoot.
Right. All right. Let me give you some references to pop culture here. Now, the people working for Rob Reiner kind of bear resemblance to some of those characters Winston Smith describes working at the Ministry of Truth in the novel called 1984. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, gentlemen. 1984. The man who first tells Cartman to eat the cupcake, of course, resembles Grandma Wormtongue or Dracula. I was also even going to see like the male version of the Wicked Witch of the West. And shares of some of his characteristics as black trench coat, overly stiff collar, and a cliche logo on the heart is a reference to Pink from Pink Floyd's The Wall. And of course, notably, Pink's character and his cliche, the walking hamburgers, were also fascist, or his clique, I'm sorry. Reiner's cry of "my goo, my precious goo" is also reminiscent of Oogie Boogie's final words in Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. And of course, his death is also similar to that of the Wicked Witch in The Wizard of Oz. You didn't get the Nightmare Before Christmas reference? That's my goo. Oh, my goo. My precious goo. Okay. Anyway, and then, of course, Rob Reiner tells the tobacco company, "You've just been Reinered," which is a reference to Punk'd and the Jamie Kennedy experiment. And it was also referenced now modern day to How I Met Your Mother, with Marshall saying lawyered. Amongst the crowd of people welcoming Reiner is a man with a sign reading, "Welcome, Meathead." This is a reference to Reiner's most well-known performance as Mike Stivic in All in the Family, where he was called Meathead by Archie Bunker. That was a young Rob Reiner. And the last couple things here, with one thing of continuity, Cartman is seen to have good knowledge of the layout of the Broflovski's house. And of course, this is in the later episode, Tonsil Trouble. Cartman would tell Butters that he has sneaked into Kyle's room a ton of times. And remember, he also snuck into Kyle's room with, "What are you doing, Kyle?" With the episode about, we reviewed that episode where Cartman wants to kill Kyle because Kyle, they all did, what is it? They all did something wrong, and they got to keep their story straight. Last night, we went down to a show, 4 friends. Remember, like the story episode?
Yeah. Oh man.
And then we had it.
What episode is that? What did they do?
We had Papas de Fritas. It was the
toilet paper
episode.
TP episode. Yeah. So go back and listen to the toilet paper episode from season 5, and you can get that review. Yeah, man, it's been a while. We've been reviewing so many episodes now. So that's some of your pop culture continuity references and your trivia here. Well, guys, we could do What Did Kenny Say, but he only had one line in this whole episode. So I don't think it would be, good of us to do the whole "What did Kenny say" build up for one thing. And his only one line was, "Well, yeah, that's what I think." That was literally his own line after Kyle suggested that they stay out of it. So unfortunately,
no, what did Kenny
we
say?
don't have a big "What did Kenny say."
That's what.
Yes, what Kenny say. Joe, what did you like about this episode?
Just Cartman finally having a limit to his quest for stardom and $10 million and $10,000 cash. He wasn't willing to die for it. Usually he'd be like, maybe not willing to die, but finding some kind of way to work around it.
Like he was like, what's that last part about dying? What do you mean about dying?
Wait, can I just disappear and keep the $10,000?
The Sega Dreamcast.
Sega Dreamcast, which I have one.
Sega Dream.
Scoop, what did you like about the episode?
Just a little couple niblips when they're outside smoking. And they're all trying to talk to Mr. Mac.
He throws up for bowling.
Yeah.
I think we've all might have had that experience from smoking cigarettes and you're trying to hide it from your parents if you did at a young age. Maybe not.
Yeah,
maybe not throw up in front of them, but you definitely held it in or did tried other means to get rid of it. Joe, anything else you liked about the episode?
I mean, there's not necessarily anything bad about it, which I guess is something to like, but there's really not a lot good about it either.
It's a very political kind of not political type episode, but it's just it's a topical episode, if you will, a satirical take on current events, even now, cigarettes itself.
Right. And I appreciate that they went after people who are like, "Oh, you smoke, you suck if you smoke."
You're not my son anymore. They
needed to be right. And like those people definitely needed to be taken down a couple notches, because if you want to smoke, fucking smoke, just
do it. I don't care.
Yeah. And like, and maybe and like if you're in your own house and shit, you should be able to smoke indoors. I kind of get not being able to do it in certain public buildings and shit, but again, I grew up in Vegas. I'm used to people being able to smoke in bars and casinos. Freedom.
freedom.
But I do understand the counter argument is when you are in places like that and you do frequent a lot and people are smoking around you and you don't smoke, you are getting a lot of that secondhand smoke, and that it does cause cancer.
Yeah, I totally understand that too.
It's not my choice to sit there like doing something that I want to do and having to sit in your smoke because you have the choice to smoke in there. Well, I have the choice to not smell or not breathe your. It's so stupid.
Yeah, it's a lot of gray areas and stuff, and yeah, but it wasn't the greatest episode, but it wasn't the most controversial issue either.
I would agree. I would say my highlights of the episode of Cartman in general, just his affinity for Rob Reiner. I always find that stuff funny, obviously. Rob Reiner's his hero until the end. He does, at least, fork him with the goo. That was a funny part. My precious goo. I like that part. But yeah, all of Cartman's stuff is pretty funny. And then the game is on, gentlemen, as he's all trying to tell Kyle he's going to beat him to be in the commercial, and the double Jew,
the Serbian
Jew, double
bluff, Serbian
Jew double bluff. So yeah, I thought that was funny. And then of course, him trying to barricade Kyle into the room. Unfortunately, we pointed this out. Kyle could just open the fucking door, which I thought was just funny. Just open the door, and then he walks right under it. I got you now, Kyle. So yes, that's your full recap and review, you guys, for another edition of.
Suck my balls. Suck my balls. Suck my balls. Suck my balls.
Suck my balls, a South Park review. I, of course, I'm your host in the heat and I can't be beat. I'm your guy who's high where the air is dry. Yeah, boy. MSG. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram at Matthew_Shaffer. Follow us as a podcast at link.tree. Linktree. South Park Pod. Just type in South Park Pod, Linktree. It'll come right up. You get all of our information if you want to follow us. Of course, you can email us, suckmyballspod@gmail.com. Ladies and gentlemen as well. Scoop, before I get to you, and Joe, before I get to you, I do also want to point something out that we've kind of got here. And this is a special message that we got from one of our fans. So let me go ahead and pull that up here. All right, so before we go, we want to just go ahead and give a shout out to Gerald Wirtz, who sent us a message last Friday. He said, hey, guys, just wanted to say I love the show, love the format. Please don't change anything. Keep it going. Thank you for keeping me sane at work. So shout out to you, Gerald, for sending in a message to us. We really appreciate that. Okay, sorry, Scoop. Where can the people follow you again? Scoop. We forgot last time on the YouTube. We forgot. We got confused. Where can they follow you at?
Your lyrics _lie.
There you go. Your lyrics _lie on Twitter. If you want to hit up.
I had to make the most random.
Yeah, it's fine. Most random. Okay. Anyway, of course. And of course to our boy, Dirty Joe. What's going on in your world?
Nothing really too new lately. Denver Death Trip coming up March 13th at the Roxy Theater in 5 Points, Denver. That will be all death matches that night. So, yeah.
All death matches all the time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thanks for coming back to another edition of Suck My Balls. We'll be back next week with raisins. Oh my God, we're going to get raisins. And Hey, sweetie. And we're also going to get the debut of the fucking Goth Kids. I'm excited. Are you guys excited?
Oh, this is the debut.
Yes.
Raisins.
Yeah, this is the first time.
The first appearance of the Goth Kid. That's how Stan becomes Goth. All right, ladies.
Wendy breaks up.
Why Wendy breaks up? You're continuing source of information. All right, we'll be back, guys, on another edition of Suck My Balls.
Suck my balls. Suck my balls. Suck my balls. Suck my balls. Suck my balls. Suck my balls. Suck my balls. Suck my balls. Suck my balls. Suck my balls. Suck my balls. Suck my balls. Suck my balls. Suck my balls. Suck my balls. Suck my balls.